confidence is arguably the ultimate game changer for most athletes. Think about it. A confident athlete is one who's a successful athlete. The problem is, though, most athletes don't know how to tap into this confidence, and more importantly, they don't know how to build it. Because of that, you're leaving results on the table, you're missing out on opportunities, and you're not playing to your full potential. So today, we're breaking it all down. We're giving all the secrets, and we're going to share with you the 5 steps that we use with our pro athletes to build an authentic confidence. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Difference Maker Podcast. Your hosts, Matt and Chris Calderoni, here with an episode we're excited about because we actually had our Instagram following votes on what topic they wanted to hear about, and we picked this one, the guide that we use with pro athletes to build an authentic confidence.
Yeah, excited for to hear actually your feedback and everything from you guys. Like, it's good on Instagram.
Yeah, it's good to engage there.
Yeah, it's nice to engage. Like, we also have that that profile, or not that profile. We also have that group on Instagram as well, until we all make it. It's a good place that we're going to start discussing, like,
different
even topics, stuff like that. Like, if you have an opportunity, go check it out.
Yeah.
And give us a follow if you can.
So let's dive right into it. I like this. I really like this topic because it's something I used to personally struggle with as an athlete. I mean, you remember that when we used to play. Confidence for me was always a challenge.
Yeah.
It's not because I wasn't good. It's because I didn't know how to build it. And that was a big difference, right?
Yeah, well,
like I didn't have an authentic confidence with me when I played.
I was going to say, even myself, it wasn't the fact that I didn't have one. I would say maybe it came a little bit easier to me, or maybe I had a different approach to it than and that could even be a positional thing too, just from how we played. But like, there were times where there were very high highs and then low lows.
Right. And you know what? And the toughest thing is that this was something I experienced, at least. When you don't have an authentic confidence, you're constantly chasing it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're chasing the approval of others, and it causes you to get anxious, and it causes you to get nervous, and it causes you to doubt yourself and question if you're even cut out for this job, and blah, blah, blah. And it's really just one of those things that sucks the life and the potential out of you as not only an athlete, but a human being.
Oh, completely.
Right?
It compounds, right? Like you said, it leads to one thing, then another thing, then another thing. And then it feels like you have the weight on your shoulders and stuff.
Yeah, it sucks. So that's why today, this step-by-step formula, we're going to give you the 5 elements, right? But it follows two of our philosophies here: prepare to let go, and preparation versus forecasting. So let's talk about the first one. So prepare to let go. Our deep belief here at Molliteum, whenever we're coaching anybody, of course, is to focus on helping you prepare in a way so that you can walk into game day and make it the most enjoyable day of the week.
And when we're preparing, it's not the night before.
No.
This is this is the week before. This is everything leading up to your game, to your tournament, to whatever it is.
Yeah, to the next match. And you actually brought up a good point the other week. I think you were talking about having a conversation with a player about how game day should be the most enjoyable day type of thing.
Yeah,
right?
Game day should be fun. It should be
your
like
reward.
Preparing to let go. It should be
it's your reward.
Natural for everything that you've done, right?
Yeah, and that's how it really should be treated that way. Like, if you think of any of the greatest athletes in the world, they're walking into games, yes, determined, but enjoying themselves, right? So prepare to let go means prepare in a way or build confidence throughout the week so that you can let go and enjoy game day.
And actually, one funny thing, I was talking to an athlete this week, and he's like, because we were talking about flow state, he asked me, like, how do you get into it on game day? I was like, well, if you're actively trying to do that on game day, it's most likely not going to happen, man. And and he said this because at the end of our conversation, he said, well, yeah, actually, it's kind of weird because now that I think about it, whenever you're having those games where you're not thinking, you're just playing, you're enjoying yourself, you're doing your thing.
You dominate.
But no one stops in the middle of the game to say, wow, I'm in a flow state.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's not until afterwards.
And that's why, too, it's like, flow state is a little bit, in my opinion, of a buzz term.
I think, and what I discussed with the athlete, I think it puts way too much pressure on people.
It does.
Because
you're
like,
chasing this
I'm
thing.
trying to get into it. And then, like he said, if you don't know when you're in it.
Yeah.
It's just, afterwards. So why are we trying to do certain things? And that's why the prepare during the week, like, that's all you have.
And we also talk about, and the state you do want to get into in a game, just so you know, is one that we always say there's 3 steps: excited, certain, and you're focused.
Yeah.
Right? When you're excited about your game, you're sure of yourself, and you're focused on what you need to do, good performances happen. So it's that simple. Now, there was a really great article we're going to dive into here today, written called Developing and Maintaining Sport Confidence, Learning from Elite Athletes by Thomas and Thrower, published in 2022. And it really breaks down and identifies the 9 key sources of building confidence for athletes. So what's interesting is we drew a lot of inspiration from this article. We're going to talk about that research part in the 5 steps as well, so that you don't only have something that's, hey, a good practical step, but more importantly, something that you can dive into and see and say, hey, you know what? This is a really good move for me. This is why it works. This is how it works, and we'll get into it. So it's very simple stuff. We'll break it down today in the podcast. Sorry, but we'll also I had too many sessions this week. But we'll also be linking it down below the studies. You can check it out, follow along, and go from there. So, without further ado, let's dive into the 5 elements. So, element number 1 that we use with every athlete, pro athlete, elite youth athlete, whoever it is, to build an authentic confidence is number 1. Keeping it as simple as it is, but clarity and specificity. You want to touch on that quick?
Yeah, no, I was going to say this is, I would say, the first stepping stone to a very strong base of everything that's going forward. Like, even it can be the most frustrating thing to not know what to do. And then again, it compounds on things.
And it's funny because whenever athletes come to us and they're struggling, right, with, oh my God, I don't know what I'm not confident. And it's like, well, what do you need to build confidence in? Mm-hmm. And it's crickets. It's like, well, everything. It's like, well, hold on. There's no specificity in that, and there's no clarity.
Well,
right?
even like we're going to touch on it in a second, but even through like the visualizations and stuff like that, like if you break down a big skill, right? Like let's say free kicks, for example, if you're a soccer player taking a free kick, there's different aspects of that skill that everything needs to come together. There's most likely one challenging point there that's the broken link that doesn't allow you to go from walk up to putting the ball in the back of the net.
Right. And that's before even getting into that, it's looking at getting clear on what you need to build a skill behind. So a great example, there's an NBA player that we're working with, came to us 2 years ago when he first started with us, talking about, going into a game literally 2 days after we first started talking. And he goes, oh my God, I'm not feeling confident right now. And he did the same thing every other athlete does, right? I'm not feeling confident. And it's like, well, in what? It's like everything. It's like, hold on. So we got him to break it down. And it's like, well, I'm really not feeling confident in shooting 3 balls. It's like, oh, interesting. Tell me more about that. He's like, well, whenever I have somebody on me, I feel rushed. It's like, boom, there's your insight. Yeah. It's like, so where you need to build confidence right now is not in shooting 3 balls. It's building confidence in shooting 3 balls with someone on you. And that, I know that sounds nuanced and small, but that is the absolute game changer when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I meant about that specificity and just getting clear on what's that. There's like, it's not like he doesn't have the skill.
No.
Like the skill is there. It's just, what's that one thing?
Yes.
Right?
And
like that's that one thing.
And I think it's also important to understand for any athlete too, like, or any high performer, confidence ebbs and flows. It's your job to make sure you keep it high.
Yes.
Right? So like, earned. It's not going to stay there all the time. You got to actively work on it. So it's interesting because whenever we see this and whenever we see an athlete come to us without getting clear, because that's step 1, we see them come to us without a specific skill. There's no situation to master. And before they know it, they lean into something, called learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is, oh my God, it can't get any better. And you start to believe in that and buy into that nonsense. And then it's something that really perpetuates and manifests itself into something bigger than it has to be. Right? So if you're somebody who's kind of going through this right now and you're like, oh my God, I'm lacking confidence, get clear first. And to do this, this is going back to the article I referenced earlier. One of the key elements in those 9 steps, if you will, or 9 pieces of getting confident, one of the absolute foundations that they refer to in the study is getting specific on the skill. And I know that sounds like, okay, well, that's actually pretty obvious, but you would be surprised at how many people don't go into that.
It's like losing something, right? Yeah. Normally it's in the one obvious place and then you look everywhere else, right?
Of course.
So oftentimes the most obvious skill it's the one that's the most challenging to find.
Yep.
I guess you could say.
Yep.
So
no, it's true.
It takes some self-awareness, takes some reflection, but finding that is
it actually is a lot quicker than you think if you ask yourself a couple key questions, which is just, what am I really unsure of right now? And when you ask yourself that question, what am I really unsure of? I know the word really sounds a little off, but the word really puts you in a framed perspective where it's like, hey, this is really what it is doing it for me, right? So And it's funny because in this study, going back to the research article, what we found was, and the article found, I should say, in 2022, athletes with a tailored or specific approach versus those who didn't build substantially more higher levels of confidence, right? So what that's really saying is, and why you need to understand this, there's a lot of people out there who are workers to work, right? And it's like, what I mean by that, maybe you are a worker to work, meaning you just work hard and you think it's going to happen. Well, if you're looking for the ocean, but you're running towards the hills, you're never going to find the ocean. You're running really hard, but you're not going in the right direction, right? So that specificity, as basic and as simple as it sounds, it's an absolute must. So step number one, what you need to do right now, pull out a journal. This would really help for you to do. Maybe your phone, take a note. But step number one, get very clear on what you really need to build confidence in right now. Start with a skill. So it could be like, for example, with the NBA player we work with, I need to get better at my 3-ball shooting. Okay. And then ask yourself, well, situationally, what do I need to get better at with that? And it's like shooting a 3-ball with pressure on me.
Right.
Right. So very good. Moving on to step number 2 then. Hey, quick note. If you're an athlete or a parent of an athlete who's serious about mastering their mental game, then you need to consider Molliteum coaching. At Molliteum, we help athletes discover and reach their full potential by building the resilience. And since 2015, we've helped just over 5,300 athletes from the youth to professional level to tap into this extra gear and dominate at levels they've never seen before. So with that, we do have limited spots available for our coaching. We take on 2 athletes per week or 8 total per month. All you need to do is click the application form down below. There's one for athletes under the age of 18 or parents, and there's one for athletes over the age of 18 who are paying for their own training. Click the link down below while spots last, and we'll see you in your free strategy session. Okay? And this is an interesting one, but it's visualizing and then putting mental reps to it. Now, we're massive preachers here about mental reps. We're massive preachers here about visualizing. We call them mental reps because they are mental repetitions, right? But this is something I wish I really had when I used to play soccer. See, when I played soccer and I was a goalkeeper, I had a massive issue doing goal kicks. Remember that?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Massive issue. And I know it sounds stupid for any goalkeeper tuning in. It's like, that's a basic skill.
Well, once it gets into your head,
it's tough.
It's like with any skill. Like once you start to think about it too much, it becomes
a
over.
Disaster. It's a disaster. And it's funny because that arguably was something that often held me back from being my best.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, that's something that goes across all sports. Like, who was it? Simone Biles, she had something called the twisties, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The twisties.
And then in golf, the yips? Is that?
Yeah, yips is baseball.
Baseball, sorry. There's something else I forget. But each sport, essentially, it has its own name, right? Yeah.
And
but you're thinking about it too much, and then you can't get the skill. And then,
well, see, what's funny about it is, when I used to have a tough time hitting goal kicks the way I wanted to, I was inconsistent. Like there were some years that I was really top notch at it. There were other years that I was like average. And then there were years that I was poor beyond all belief, giving the ball away, right? Like not even able to get it as high as whatever. So anyways, point being, it's funny because when it gets in your head, you then start replaying the negativity over and over again. And that's the thing that gets conditioned in you.
Sure. Right? It's like, and on a very small scale, like this happened over, it was a little bit, right? Like that overthinking, it was there.
Yep.
On a smaller scale, think of having, I remember having a really poor practice. Like I could not hit the net for the life of me. Yeah. And it was just this one practice. It was the biggest joke. Like everyone was laughing and all this stuff. But then the next day you get back and you keep going. But sometimes it can stick around quite a bit.
Yeah. And that's why, like if you're going through a slump right now, or, you can title this episode whatever you want really when it comes to confidence, right? Going through a slump, not hitting a goal kick, missing my free throw.
Just overall personal
confidence. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. So visualization, mental reps, why this is so important. This actually isn't something new. I wish it was, because we would package it up and, make it the biggest secret in the world. But this has actually been around at least since 1976. Dr. Alan Richardson, the famous and groundbreaking study he's done, we've referred to this many, many times in regards to improving athletic performance with free throws. But we talk about this article a lot, right? And what he did was he went and took a group of basketball players, divided them into 3 groups of participants. Okay. He took one group and had them just physically practice their free throws. He did that for 20 minutes a day. He had another group that had no practice at all, and they didn't practice or visualize. And then he took a final group and had them spend 20 minutes daily visualizing themselves shooting the perfect free throw technique. And after 20 days doing this daily, here were the results. Group number one, the physical practice, they improved their game by 24%. This was the highest, okay? But hear me out on this. The second group of non-practice saw no improvement. The third and final group that just visualized, didn't even touch a basketball, didn't even shoot the free throw, improved by 23%.
It's pretty cool, eh?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this? This is not to say excuse yourself from the physical practice. Physical practice will be in repetition the king that gets you there, right?
Well, that's why we call them mental reps.
Mental reps.
It's one of two parts, right?
But what you need to see this as is you got to say, well, wait a second. If I can improve by doing 20 minutes a day of physical practice daily by 24% over 20 days, and then I double that with adding in mental repetitions and adding an additional 23%, we're talking 47% better in 20 days, right? So think about that for a second. It's not to say, because we're going to talk about intentional practice in a sec, but it's not that visualization is, everything. What we're saying though is this is absolutely a crucial skill. You're talking a 1% difference in actually physically practicing.
Yeah.
Right? And visualizing. So what you need to do, step number 2 for you, is that you need to take the skill that you are now specific on and in that situation, and you need to visualize it 3 ways, okay? So you're going to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions a day, and these are going to be the 3 sets that you do, or each set is 1 set that you do. That'll equate to 3 for 10 repetitions each, okay? Number 1, you've got to visualize yourself perfectly using the technique. Now, the way to visualize with the perfect technique, and I'll explain an example in a sec, you need to feel it, right? Because so many times people just, okay, I'm closing my eyes and I'm seeing myself shoot. It's like, that doesn't work, right? You need to feel as if the parts of your body, when they say in the gym, mind-muscle connection?
Yeah.
So when you're doing a bench press, let's say you should be feeling your pecs flex, your triceps, your shoulder, all that, and you push. That's the big one.
I remember that one time that we did a group mental reps with the soccer kid, and what we asked them to do as an example was to sit there, close your eyes, and then the visualization was, just as an example, to have their heads turn 360 like an owl does, right? And the kid had to sit down simply because he felt it so much and actually happening. Like, felt bad for him, but like, if you can get to that level, like he was dialed. Sure.
But no, so first set is visualizing the perfect basic technique. So for our 3-point shooter in the NBA, he was focused on just perfect, technique hitting his shot, his 3-ball, right? Second thing is that you got to visualize now the basic technique matched with a challenge you're going to face in the game. So this challenge in the game, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, is the situation you need to master it in. That's the thing giving you the challenge. So the 3-ball shooter then, once he did the 10 repetitions of visualizing himself just with perfect 3-ball technique, he went and visualized himself the next one with pressure on him in the middle of a game and hitting the perfect 3-ball still with pressure on. He had to make sure he was landing properly, all the goodness. The final set then, you need to visualize yourself coming up in the upcoming performance, dominating. And you need to see yourself using that skill coming to life in a bunch of different scenarios, right?
I would say, just from experience with some of the athletes that I've worked with, they might be tough at the beginning
you'll get better
to get going with them, but stick with them and keep going, because you will see the results.
Listen, if we're talking 47% better results in 20 days.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, if you
but hold on. It actually is that. It is that.
No, but at the same time, though, if you can speed up the process of nailing down a skill, let's say it's something that you're uncertain behind and it's something that you're going into a game, if you can do that instantly within that week, and then you have more weeks to then solidify that skill, right? And if that's going to be faster, that you can do that quicker, and you can think of how many skills that you can add to your repertoire throughout the season.
That was a beautiful explanation.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how I see it. Okay. In 20 days, you can go from being the guy or gal on your team who's getting passed over in the lineup because you're not able to hit a basic technique like I was, to being the guy or gal on your team who is now on the first line. That's at stake.
No, for sure. But
so for me, it's like, I'm not jamming on your point. My point is, though, in my personal belief, 47% better in 20 days. Do it. Right? I wish it was easy. I wish I could dress it up and nice it and all. Just do it. Sometimes you have to, what is it? JFD, DI, JFD it, just F and do it. Like, just, there's so many times. The one thing I'm going to say to a lot of athletes, we had this past week. When something works, just keep doing it, right? Even if it feels repetitive.
Yeah.
Even if it feels, well, this is part of my practice. Look, it's not sexy, but it's going to get you sexy results.
Yeah. Well, when things are going well,
Of course.
Take everything.
Yes. Keep going. So what you got to do, step number 2, visualize 3 sets, 10 repetitions daily. Do it daily, just like they did in the study, and you will get good results, okay? Number 3 leads to the second part to this, or second part of that study, I should say. You need to have now those skills that you're visualizing. You need to practice them daily for at least 20 minutes on your own. Okay? I can't say this enough. You know this better than anybody. We say this all the time here. You get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. Look, it's not fun. I never used to have fun practicing goal kicks 20 minutes a day. I didn't have fun doing keep-ups every day for 20 minutes a day. I didn't have fun having soccer balls, drop kicked at me and catching them for 20 minutes a day. It was fundamental. It was boring. It's what made me good.
Sure.
Right?
At the same time, though, I don't know. That physical practice is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
You get out to go see yourself
fun.
do those things. And then in combination with these mental reps that we had in step 2, like you're going to be able, I think, and I've seen it, you're going to be able to try more things.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to expand, again, your skill set and possibly that confidence, that self-confidence to I can do more than I thought that I was capable of doing.
Well, and it's the basics that people neglect all the time, right? And I can't tell you how many times we've had athletes, top athletes, even elite youth athlete, whoever, come to us and say, hey, I need to build my confidence. And when we ask them the question, are you working on the skill daily? The answer is sometimes, at best, right? So, and there's a great example of this. There's an NHL player we were working with, came to us, needed to build his confidence. Biggest thing we had him doing, shooting pucks 15 to 20 minutes a day after team practice. Standing in front of the net, just burying. By the end of the first week of him doing that, he went and broke his scoring slump, scored a couple goals. By, I think, the second week he did that consistently, he was getting and averaging 3 to 4 goals a week. By the third and final week, he was averaging close to about, I think it was 5 to 7 points on a weekly basis. That's massive, right? Now, mind you, it's when he was playing at the junior level and then jumped to the pro. But my point being, the daily practice, it's crucial, right? And it's, again, going back to this article, the one by Thomas and Thrower, the one about developing and maintaining sport confidence and learning from elite athletes, they found that the importance of specific and intentional preparation and building authentic confidence is high. Identify high quality mental and physical preparation as they identified high quality mental and physical preparation as the most significant source of confidence for elite athletes. This preparation includes setting clear goals, engaging in deliberate practice, and employing mental strategies like visualization and self-talk. So it brings these two together. So what does that mean? Listen to this line. High quality physical and mental preparation as the most significant source of confidence for elite athletes. So here's what that means. That means that arguably your best tool that you can use are these two things, right? Visualization paired with intentional daily practice for 20 minutes a day. I always used to do one, the physical practice.
I guaranteed majority of people.
Right? That was my thing. Yeah. I would go to the field. You never had a problem asking me to go to the field. I loved it. Where I fell short was the mental practice.
Yeah.
So step 3, what you're going to do, what this 20 minutes is composed of, what you're visualizing, go create it now on the field or on the ice or on the court.
Yeah.
Right? And practice it. So we used to, all the time, you would come in on breakaways sometimes, short sides, whatever, and we would just do repetitions, and we hit it and it got me confident. I was one of the most confident shot-stopping goalkeepers in my age because you always took shots on me. I was never great at distribution. I was never great at goal kicks, but I was good at those two things because we practiced it.
Yeah, it's repetition, right?
Repetition.
And just for some of you guys might be thinking, oh, you know what? I do a little bit of a form of visual. I used to, like, I don't know if you guys do, but I used to listen to music on the way to games or whatever, and it would just be a little highlight reel in my head of like, oh, doing these moves, that move, anything else. If you're currently doing that, you're step one. Step two, just to enhance it that much more, is to legitimately, instead of just on the way to a game, do it throughout the week.
Yeah.
Have that specific skill and like really feel don't just see, but like really feel yourself doing that skill. And it again, some of you already do it. It's just a matter of maybe doing it with that much more intensity or focus or feeling or whatever the case may be.
Well, and whenever we look at intentional practice, we always say there's two things you need. There's an intensity you need to have and a purpose, right? So I could do, like my NBA player, 3-point shooting. Mm-hmm. But there's not enough intensity, like there's specificity there. But the intensity of having somebody on you and practicing that way isn't there, so it's not going to translate.
Yeah.
Right? So this transferability of skill or practice always comes from the specificity and the intention you have, or the intensity you have, right? So step number 3, make sure you're doing that, and you're going to do it for at least 10 minutes daily. If you can get the 20 minutes a day, do it, okay? Topic number 4, or step number 4, film study. Now, there's a really good clip of Kobe Bryant before he passed away teaching his daughter's basketball team how to break down film. Michael Jordan was notorious for film. There's actually an article we referenced in a YouTube video we're doing where one of Jay Leno's crew was traveling with the USA men's basketball team at the time, way back when Michael Jordan was playing. Mm-hmm. And they were playing, I believe, Angola the next day. Like, of all countries, Angola. Mm-hmm. Okay? Nothing against him, but I can't remember how many times I said there's at least 5 starting players in the NBA from Angola.
Right.
Okay. So, to his surprise, he's walking by and he sees MJ doing extra film study. Mm. And he notes it in his article, but he goes, I kind of felt foolish, but I had to ask. And I said, hey, just curious, like, you're watching film on Angola? And he goes, MJ replied with, well, anything that gets me an advantage over my opponent, I'm going to do it.
Right.
So you want to talk about one of the quote unquote kings of confidence. Look no further to highlights of Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. But listen to where that comes from. He was breaking down film, right? So many times athletes are watching sports. They're not studying film.
Right.
Especially when guys come to us or gals come to us. And the problem with that is you are then going into a match and you're not actually prepared the right way. See, this comes from one of our points earlier in this when we say 2 things we have a philosophy of: prepare to let go and prepare versus forecast. Forecasting is when you're looking at the other team trying to predict every single thing they're going to do, and it makes you overthink.
Right.
Preparing is saying they do that well, they do that bad, I do this well, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. Right? So preparing is the way Michael Jordan did it. He would watch these teams and he would watch his team and he would look at it and say, wow, well, you know, Angola I've noticed as a whole is poor offensively. I've noticed they also aren't very fast. So if I use my speed this game, I can do really well.
Yeah.
That's preparation. Forecasting is to say, I bet you 32 on the other team is going to do this and I need to prepare for that. And then 32 doesn't do it and you're leaving, 15 wide open.
Yeah.
Point being, you got to prepare, not forecast.
You know what? I would say that forecasting, I would say that's pretty good for a coach's perspective of a team, because then you can then filter
tactically prepare.
Yeah. And then you can filter that through to players to say, okay,
be aware of so-and-so's tendency.
You got to use your speed here, whatever the case may be. But it's a good spot for coaches to be in. And then players, like you said, that other side of, what'd you say? Sorry. Not forecasting, but preparation. Yeah.
And there is research again to back this up, right? We'll link the study below, but in an article from The Power of Game Film, okay, it underscores the significance of film analysis in athlete development, where research indicated that 93% of this is important, 93% of human communication is visual, emphasizing the effectiveness of film study. So think of something for a second. We say this all the time. We always tell our athletes to model people or study quote unquote role models or watch highlight films of other athletes that they used to watch growing up. And everyone's like, well, that's crazy. They have film of themselves. It's like, listen to this. Mm-hmm. 93% of human communication is visual. Okay, so think of how you used to learn to speak when you were a young child. What did your parents do? They literally sat in your face, said a word, hundreds of times until you repeated it back. Communication, right? So why is that important for film study? Well, going further, analyzing different angles of an athlete's sport, a comprehensive understanding of the game can be achieved. From this comprehensive understanding, the findings from the research found, and I will not make this as nerdy in a second, but the research from the studying film for athletic performance highlights several key benefits. Number 1, enhanced decision-making. 2, increased game awareness. 3, technical and tactical improvements. And number 4, preparedness and boost confidence. So what does this mean? This means by properly studying film, you're able to actually better your decision-making, your awareness, your tactical improvements, and your confidence.
Yeah, so do it.
So do it. And this isn't sitting on a Friday night watching the hockey game, soccer game, or football game. This isn't Sunday mornings watching the English Premier League and, messing around about while you're watching the game. This is sitting down for a set period of time and drawing conclusions from things.
Yeah, this goes back to everything that we were saying before, intentional and purposeful.
Yes.
Right?
So,
if you have all that behind it.
And here's how you break down film. Number 1, you don't want to just watch film of yourself. I know so many times, so many athletes that do that. That's important. However, you are looking to learn from these visual cues. Sometimes the best way to do that, maybe you had a really good game and you want to study your best games for that. But I would highly suggest going back to those athletes you were watching growing up or that you're currently watching and studying how they're doing things in those highlight films. I'm not saying you need to be a highlight reel player. We're not talking about that. What we're saying is learn how they're doing things, right? Where do they pull up when they're hitting a 3-ball? How do they fake to get someone a head bust and so they're able to put themselves in a better position? How are they using their deception? Maybe they're running, they're skating, they're moving, whatever. Learn from those role models.
Yep.
Okay, so this we suggest doing 3 times per week, 10 minutes at each time. You want to look at your role models, break down what they're doing well, and what you feel that you can add to your game. And if you do have the opportunity to be able to get film on your opponent, take the MJ approach, see what they do well, see where they're weak, find where you can use your strengths against a team like that.
Yeah.
Very simple.
And remember what Matt said there, it's all about the preparation.
Yeah.
Right? It's not exact everything that needs to be done. It's the preparation side.
100%. So, final step number 5, reflection. Now, whenever I talk to athletes about how they improved or how they got better, it is often crickets, right? It's, how did you get better this week? I don't know. I just got better. Well, what that sets us up for is going into a game and failing. So here's a great example. When we had our first ever client, God love him, Jonathan Bernier, I was 22 years old. He was playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. For any hockey people tuning in, this was a while back. You will see we've come a long way as a company, working with, so many different athletes now. But first athlete, I was the youngest mental coach in the NHL at 22 years old to work with a player, Jonathan Bernier. So with Bernie, we took a very simple approach. And it was pretty much this. The only thing at the time we didn't use as much with him was the visualizing part. And we said, okay, let's have you nail down specifically what you got to get better at. Let's have you go intentionally practice it, stay intentional during practices. And then I recorded everything in a book to be able to reflect on it all week long.
Yep.
The thing that made him most confident going into games was reviewing his reflections. And it was a question of, oh my God, I did all this work. There is absolutely no way I'm not prepared for tonight.
It's nice to see everything that you've done without having to recall it from just memory. It's like, wow, this was done. It gives you a sense of assuredness, of no, on Tuesday, this was fantastic. Wednesday, this was great. For him, maybe, his glove hand, his post play, whatever the case may be, this was fantastic. What do I have to think about?
Yeah. And that's why too, whenever we're working with athletes and they have this, they get so caught up in the day to day, they don't realize their progressions, right? So it's like when you have that, you're just in this constant state of am I even getting better?
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't, on game days especially, and even everyone has done this, when you have a test, you shouldn't have to worry about the things that you already know. It should be your thinking should be reserved for the things that are challenging or that you don't know. That's where you can make quick decisions on facing adversity. Everything else that you have, whether it be your skill, your shot, your passing ability, your goal kicks, for example, you shouldn't have to think about that going into games. That shouldn't be the last thing. It should be, I know I've done this. I know I've done it well. Reflecting and seeing everything that you've done up to that week gives you that knowledge base.
I feel fantastic. I feel ready.
Yeah.
I feel good. Like that's what reflection is.
And then you think about the challenge. Like the only thing, again, I personally believe the only thing you have to worry about in games should be the challenges of, okay, this guy is on this game. I need to do this instead and adapt quickly.
Yep.
Right?
And that's why, like, and there's so many studies, to back this up. I mean, going back to the study with Thomas and Thrower, one of those big 9, if you will, was the self-reflection piece. And the reason self-reflection was so important is because it allowed athletes to see on a daily basis exactly what it was they were doing right. So all you're going to do each day to start putting this into play, because it will help you reduce anxiety and stress. It will help you see noticeable gains in your sport and your performances. And it will help you notice the small little details that got better. So what you want to do is each day, you want to grade your day out of 10, okay? And you want to ask yourself, what's my rating today? Grade yourself out of 10. This is going to put you into a mentality of now being able to explain that. And you're going to ask yourself, what did I do well that I gave myself a 10 or an 8, let's say? What do I need to get better at that I graded myself a 10 on? What am I going to do tomorrow? You keep a log of those 4 things: a rating, what you did well, what can get better, what you're going to do tomorrow. That will drastically enhance your confidence as an athlete because you're going to be seeing your progress every single day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, again, like what I said before, you shouldn't have to worry about the things that you've done in the past. If they're on, you shouldn't have to think about them. It should be, what are the challenges that are unknown?
Yeah.
That are coming up.
And that's why it's like, this stuff is just, this is our blueprint for athletes. Like, these are the secrets. This is everything. This is what we do to build authentic confidence. The one thing behind it that's crucial, you cannot do it for a week and expect it to be there with you forever.
Yeah.
This has to become a daily practice for you. And one of the things that we see with our athletes that drastically changes their life is they make it a daily practice. It's not just some short-term little stint that they have and then they stop doing it again, right?
Yeah.
Like, this has to be done over and over and over again, and it will drive you.
Including when things are going well.
Including
when things are going well. Again, like we said at the beginning, this is when you want more of it.
Yeah. So to recap, number 1, there's 2 mindsets or philosophies we abide by. Prepare to let go, number 1. Number 2, prepare, don't forecast. The 5 steps you're going to follow. Step number 1, get clear on what skill you need to master and in what situation you need to master it in. Step 2, you're going to then visualize that 3 sets, 10 repetitions. Do this daily. The 3 sets are going to be: set number 1 is perfect technique. Set number 2 is visualizing that technique through a challenge. And set number 3 is using that technique and challenge in a game. Step number 3, then you're going to make sure you're going to go practice daily what you're visualizing, intentional practice. Do it for at least 20 minutes. Step number 4 is you're going to then go study film on those skills that you're studying and getting better at. And then step number 5, you're going to reflect on your day and your progress to see how you got better with that skill. My one challenge to you will be, every 30 days, master 1 new skill. If you can do this for a new skill every 30 days, you will be at the top of your game consistently. It's basics. Like, if there was something that I can honestly say drastically will change the quality of your performances going into the next one, this will be the episode to do it. Follow these 5 steps. I'll actually even challenge you. You know what? Let's do a challenge. Maybe we'll create a link. We'll create a landing page.
Sure.
Okay. Down below, if you're in for this challenge, we'll create a little kind of, thing, that a little form actually. This is a great idea. This is off the whim. Okay. Down below, we'll put a form. Fill out, we'll ask you these questions. What is that skill you're going to master over the next 30 days? How are you going to visualize it? How are you going to practice it? What film are you going to study on it? How are you going to reflect on it? Okay. At the end of the 30 days, we'll pick one random winner. You can have a one-on-one coaching session with us and you can tell us how this worked.
Beautiful.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. And we'll personally reach out to the winner of that and see how it goes. You'll get a coaching session with myself or Chris. We'll work through this with you and it can work. We just want to see you take action. That's the most important thing for us. Right. So if you got value from this episode, please like, subscribe, leave a rating, leave a starred review, comment if you're on YouTube, drop down below what you can use first. And of course, stay resilient and we'll see you in the next one. Now, if you like this episode and want more of these deep dives like we go into on our podcast, check it out here. And if you want some more short form, to the point, direct trainings that are about 10 to 15 minutes long, check it out here where we have playlists full of different topics on how you can build your resilience.